everybody, it's Wonderful Skiff. We are back with another Skiff Smasher showcase, and today we have on Madison Turner. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. So, for those who are unaware, Madison Turner is a Diddy Kong main, and she is from the Richmond, Virginia area where she's PR'd at. So, what number are you PR'd in?
So last time I was on the PR, it was 9. But that was a while ago because we haven't been able to see other humans for a long time.
Right. Yeah, first things first, I just want to kind of get right into this. And usually the first question I ask, and this kind of seems a little straightforward, is where does your tag originate from?
I mean, it's really complex. There's a many hoops you have to jump through to get there.
Yeah.
But my tag is Madison Turner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm some sort of famous celebrity or athlete or something. I just went with my name.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because a few people I've interviewed have had basically the same thing. The first person I ever interviewed is Eric. He's a Me Sword Fighter main, and it's
awesome.
Same process. It's just his name.
Yep. That's kind of how I've always done it. I've just never really had a gamer tag, and I've just gone with my name.
All right, well, pretty straightforward, right to the point. I'm with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, going on from there, let's start talking about some your results, right? Obviously, results are big results in tournaments and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Oh yeah. So obviously, like results are a big part of what makes a player. Anything at the time. So I've actually looked at some of the names of people you've actually fought and beat, and like it's actually quite the list. And there you go. And like I'm seeing Vendetta, Chunky Kong, Loaf, Bluxus, Skittles, and even an H-Box win, which usually gets people a lot of chatter sometimes.
Sure. I don't think I have a Vendetta win, to be honest.
Oh, I looked at it.
Do I?
Yeah, I saw Vendetta.
Oh, I think I have a... Oh, maybe I did. I don't know. If I did, I don't remember it. I remember losing to Vendetta, but in any case, I do have like an H-Box of Skittles and Chunky and some others. Yeah, I don't know. Results-wise, the H-Box win was just this past week. That was a lot of fun because I stream as well, and as you might see by the tag on the just all big stories that are lots of hoops. But it was a lot of fun to have H-Box Twitch, which is quite substantially larger than mine, kind of invade my channel.
It's pretty much like
him with barrels.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the #1 Smash stream. It's just crazy to think about.
No, absolutely. It's totally wild, but a lot of fun. I don't know. I just do my best every match. I always try and think about it in a way that's I can beat any player, but any player can beat me. So I just take every match as seriously as I can.
There you go. I think that's a good way to look at it too. But yeah, going off that list and stuff like that, which one do you think you're most proud of? And it doesn't have to be ones that I mentioned. It could be anything else, a tournament win. It could be against a certain person, even just taking a game off of them. What do you think is your most impressive result so far?
Ooh. My most impressive might be beating Skittles, I think. Just as far as rank wise. But that's a hard question. Also, talking and playing is so hard. Yeah, I might go that way. Then again, beating local PR players is always feels good too.
Right.
Especially when I first started doing that.
So who's the big dog down in Richmond, Virginia at the moment?
That would be Iota.
Okay.
Iota Ridley player, who I don't think I've taken a set off of his Ridley, but I've taken off of his Lucas and maybe another character, Byleth. I think I took a set off of Byleth. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for me to ask anyway because I'll be down in that area soon enough. So as soon as offline comes back, I'll probably coming up trying to do some commentary. So I mean,
awesome!
I may as well figure out who's up there. But yeah, I totally get the Ridley matchup. I don't know. Do you feel like you struggle against Ridley or?
No, that's the thing too. I think
really?
I actually do really well against Ridley. I think it's just Iota's very good.
I totally get the whole good Ridley player. There's one in South Dakota White Fang, and they are absolutely fantastic. Their ledge trapping is absolutely brutal, and I actually did an interview with them as well. And they're great.
Yeah.
They're a great person, but I hate playing them so much.
Yeah, I just don't mind. Oh god, I don't. Oh, I'm dead. I don't mind. I don't mind a Ridley. Ridley's kind of. If I had to fight like a heavy character, Ridley's probably my preference on who I'd rather fight. Like a good Bowser can be very scary, I think.
Right. I mean, you
like
got Bluxious on your win, so I mean, Bluxious is a very talented Bowser as well.
That's true. That's true. I have beaten Bluxious. I don't know. You just never know what can happen. I feel like with a heavy or with, I guess it's ultimate. With a lot of characters, you don't know what can happen. With Diddy specifically, Diddy's a weird character in that you can kind of control a match for a while, and then all of a sudden you just sort of die to like getting hit with two things. Just because he's so light, and you kind of have to be sort of precise with him, I guess.
Right.
Or else, yeah, you just sort of die.
That makes sense. I mean, that's like kind of the bane of a lot of light characters, and I definitely know the struggle sometimes. When I'm not playing Instant, I'm usually playing Game & Watch, so like, sometimes you die.
Yep, for sure.
So, kind of going on from there, though, what are some moments, like, within, like, Smash in general that you think stick out to you the most? Like, this could be, like, offline stuff, it could be online again, or just, like, some interactions that you've had with players that you thought was, like, just really, really interesting.
Yeah. So I've been playing Smash for a long time. I am 33, so I'm quite older, I think, than a lot of people playing right now. I started playing competitive during Brawl.
Okay.
So I've been maining Diddy for like over a decade at this point. And so I've kind of seen a lot, I guess. I got to sit down with like M2K at like in a friend's apartment, like when he was just sort of like traveling and just like practice against his Meta Knight and Brawl and stuff. And so things like that have been fun. But I don't know. One of the memories that I have that I really like from Brawl days was I went to, I want to say it's like MLG 2011 or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so we're talking a while ago.
Yeah.
Quite a while ago. And there's a player that some people might know named Reflex, who I never met, but he was playing Pokemon Trainer. I believe he's a Georgia player, if I'm not mistaken. And this was MLG in Orlando, Florida. I just specifically remember, there's chairs, everyone's sitting down and playing, but he's like the only person standing. And he was doing all of the Pokemon moves as he beat people, like in real life, and it was just adorable. So that's a good memory.
Actually, that would very well stand out for I think anybody.
Yeah.
It's just it's very off-putting.
Off-putting.
Well, like, because if you're sitting there trying to play against somebody, he's over there.
Oh yeah. For sure. From that perspective.
Oh.
I like barrels a lot. Barrels are fun.
I've noticed you've done a lot of barrels.
Yeah. I think not a lot of Diddy players do enough barrel stuff. I think it can be super unsafe if you do it in neutral.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes as like a burst option, it's good. I really like to tech chase with it. Not enough people do that.
Yeah, and that's actually very interesting that you kind of bring this up, because the next question I was actually kind of get into here is game plan and like style. Like when you're playing Diddy Kong, this could be against a player you're familiar with or just even a new player. Like what are you trying to implement? What are you trying to get the other player to do? What is your ultimate game plan? Obviously it's the W, but
right. It really depends. I'm very like matchup driven, I guess, that I play different matchups different ways. Whereas I know some players who don't really care that much about the matchup and they're sort of into their game plan. But a lot of times I want to be very patient in most matchups. I'm totally comfortable camping. I'm totally comfortable taking my time and picking and choosing. But ultimately, I want the other player to make mistakes and find that opening. Also very like read based, I guess, rather than reaction. But yeah, things like that where I saw Incineroar is still an end lag. I I usually want to shoot some barrels out there. I just feel like it's a very, it seems unsafe, but it's a very quick, safe option to get a lot of damage.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Right, like that.
Yeah, like that. I fish with banana a lot too. I don't know if it's because of Brawl, but I play very heavy into banana. To the point where, and there's another one right there, and like to barrels. Yeah, very heavy, and so sometimes if the other player knows what to do with banana or how to kind of steal it, you know, I can become lost in the matchup. Sometimes, I guess it just depends.
I think that's fair, kind of recognizing like some of the weaknesses that you might have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, what do you think is like, what's your favorite matchup, I guess? Because you brought up like certain matchups you play differently, which I think is a really good way to kind of approach anything, especially with like a character that can be as expressive as Diddy Kong, I would say. So like, what do you think is your favorite matchup to go against?
Favorite. I think Diddy has a lot of like even matches. I do like. This might sound kind of weird, but I like Palu. I think Palu's a pretty even matchup for Diddy, and you have things that you're going to exploit kind of from them. You're just kind of, I don't know. You don't really have to like super camp, but you don't really have to do it super fast either. If that makes sense, it's almost like a neutral matchup.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna also go out on a complete, like most people would disagree with this, right? But I've really, I have an appreciation for the Sonic matchup at this point. I've played it so much at this point that like now I feel like I understand it, and I am totally comfortable bringing a game to time.
Right.
I have no qualms with that at all. So I kind of like that matchup.
I mean, I would say that, like, especially in the era that we're in right now, you kind of need to have a solid game plan. I even saw, like, you have some results against Pow Pow and Super Striker as well, so it definitely seems like you kind of got an idea of how to play that.
Yeah, I think I'm either 1-1 or 2-1 with Super Striker right now. Oh, God. Just dead. Again, talking and playing is so hard. It's just sort of autopiloting. But, yeah. Against... Yeah, like, I played Zam, I think, twice in the past, like, month or so. And I think 3 of the 4 games all went to time, and I won them all. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm super comfortable with it. I know a lot of people don't like campy games, which is just, I just think it's part of it. Kind of a funny thing that I feel recently is with the HBox win, like, HBox's chat is all... like, she's camping, this is terrible, she's camping, right? And, like, I played You're Too Slow also recently, and kind of the same thing, you know, when I go back and usually watch their VODs just to get their perspective on things, too, and I lost 1-2 to You're Slow, by the way, so I lost that set, but, you know, it was kind of the same thing, like, he's kind of frustrated at the camping, and, like, the chat's all kind of frustrated. I'm, like, thinking back, you know, it's just, like, You're Too Slow and HBox are, like, players who... like made a name by camping, right? Like, yeah. I'm like, these are some of the campiest players, like, and they're frustrated about it. So I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny.
Right. No, I mean, it's definitely a. I don't want to say it's reap what you sow, but it's definitely like it's definitely a bit of karma to it, I think, and it's always very interesting to see how certain players will play certain styles, and then when they find someone who plays that style sometimes stronger, and it's just like, oh, I hate this. It's like, but you are
right.
This.
Right. It's, I don't know. I definitely, I just want to win, right? Like,
yeah, I
want to win, so I'm going to come up with the best strategy that works for me. And I know that, like, reaction time, not necessarily my strong point. If you ask me what's plus or minus on shield, I couldn't tell you most times. I don't really comprehend it that much, but, like, how can I avoid the player until I know that I can get a hit in? That I can do. So I'm going to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So kind of going from there. So Let's touch on your weaknesses a little bit. I know you kind of brought them up a little bit. You said like when you lose banana, but is there any other weaknesses you think you have as a player that you think you need to work on, or?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone has weaknesses, so I think everyone's always got something to work on. But for me, like right now specifically, as far as weaknesses, it's something I haven't been. I've been like streaming a ton and not like practicing actually at all. So I haven't really been thinking too hard about it. But ooh. Ooh. I know. I'm like kind of in that like maybe I care too much, you know, like that sort of trope. Like, but as far as weaknesses and stuff, oh, that killed.
Oh. All right.
I'll take that. That was all planned. I don't know. Sometimes I do rely a little bit heavily on things like barrels and such. And when I see that they get shut down, sometimes I get a little bit lost. Like, well, now what do I do?
Right.
Might be a weakness.
There I go. Back to the other side of the stage.
Yeah.
All right. So, so definitely, it's almost like a. I don't want to say you're not good at adapting. Oh, the teardrop. But like, it almost seems like adapting. Like once a game plan's kind of eliminated, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Oh, I haven't gotten this far before.
Right. Like once you sort of like run out of options almost, because you know I'll play people right like and watch back again for perspective, and I'll see things like I played MK Leo. And I feel like the set went pretty well, but I lost. But
I think
one of the things you mentioned
was a 2-0, right?
I believe it was 2-0, yeah. I want to say it was one of those ones where the games came pretty close, but the set didn't because it was 2-0.
Yeah.
But and the games only came close too because I kind of cheesed a stock or two, you know. Oh god, 52%. Don't do it. Yeah, like I got like a Nair to Dare combo at like 40 or something like that to bring it back, sort of thing, and then it was even from there, type set. But one of the things that he said was just like as I'm watching back, he's just like she just cartwheels in constant, like she has like one option, and then so I kind of watched him in that VOD adapt to what I was doing, and so it's interesting to think like. I'm not really thinking about it as like I'm just using one option when I'm playing, but that can be a thing that sometimes I zone in on. Like I just want that sort of combo starter, so maybe I'm just dash attacking too much, things like that. I have to mix it up a little bit more.
I get you, and it's always good like when you get that chance to play against like some of those really good players, those top players, because they always have like even if they're frustrated like in the match, they still can drop like little bits of knowledge that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so. No, absolutely. And plus it's also interesting, like even if they are frustrated, that's kind of a good sign too, right? Like you're seeing where people are starting to almost break, and like I got that HBox win, but he wasn't camping nearly as hard as he could have been. I got that win off of a reverse 3-stock in game 3, where I was like totally down. If I would have showed you a screenshot 4 minutes before the game ended, you would have thought there's no way. But I just played it super patient, waited for the hits that I could get, and stole the game basically.
Right. I mean, that's also got to be like pretty sweet too, just getting that HBox win in general.
Feels good, yeah. Definitely feels good. I'm just saying, I look good in blue and white, Team Liquid. So.
I don't have any say over that. I just do freelance work for them every once in a while.
No, I'm just messing.
It's all good though. So anyway, so yeah. So kind of going up, like we kind of discussed like your game plan, your weaknesses and stuff like that. We even went over some of your results, but like what I kind of want to know here, and like Diddy Kong is obviously it's a character that some players are very, very good with. We got some very notable players, like Tweak has made a couple really solid ones, and you got Aaron as well, who may or may not be the best Diddy, depending on who you ask.
Right.
But what do you think about your place in Diddy Kong in general, and then like what do you think about your current skill level?
Yeah. I So I entered like a Diddy Kong only tournament, right? That Cuddler threw. Cuddler, talking about skill level, I think Cuddler is better than I am. But I entered a Diddy Kong only tournament, and Aaron played in it as well.
Yeah.
I did not.
Grand final set between the two of you, right?
Yes, exactly. I did not drop a game that entire tournament, except for the games that I played, the sets that I played Aaron, where I dropped every game. I feel like that kind of sums up sort of where I am with Diddy. I think I'm kind of ahead of the game with most players, but then when you get to like the actual very solid players, that's where I'm just not even close, if that makes sense.
I think I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, if you were to put yourself like in a numbered spot for Diddy Kongs, where do you think you put yourself?
Oh god, that's so hard. I don't have that list. It's because like I can't even tell you if I'm the best Diddy in like Richmond. You know, we've got Archie who plays like a whole bunch of characters. Diddy being one of them, but Archie sits, you know, higher on the Richmond PR than I am. And speaking of which, too, you know, like I beat Skittles 2-1, and then Archie, who plays Young Link as well. I play his Young Link like the day after or so in a 1-to-5, and I lose like, you know, like 5-2 or something like that. So, it's always hard to like rank players, I think. So. I don't know. I don't have a number, I guess, but
it's definitely an opinion-based topic for sure.
Yeah, number one in my heart.
And that's what matters.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're actually blasting through a lot of these questions pretty quickly. So at this point, I'd like to open up the floor to a topic that maybe you'd like to discuss.
Oh, okay. So just kind of whatever I want to talk about here.
Whatever you want to talk about, as long as you know somewhat family friendly.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I've been playing Smash for quite a while, right? I bought Smash when it came out, right, on the Nintendo 64. Like I remember seeing that commercial with the mascots and stuff. The remember me and you.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
That's a long time ago.
That's quite a long time ago, right? Like
I remember seeing that commercial as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I am. I've kind of stuck with it, and I just feel like kind of do what you like, right? So so I don't know. What am I getting at? I guess. So I don't know. I've just kind of been around for a while, playing, and I always respect when people have been, you know, when people stick with it, I guess, is the big thing. You know what? I've got something else that we can talk about instead, because that's not going anywhere.
Actually, I do have kind of a question that's to follow up on that, because you've been around in the scene for so long. Where do you rank your Smash games in terms of like from like best to worst? Like, what do you think is the best Smash game?
What do I think the best Smash game is? Ultimate.
Ultimate?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Ultimate is for sure the best. It's just got, I think it's the most balanced out of any Smash game. We can talk about like this character is the worst, this character is the best, but you put two people who are really good on them, and I think that they're both gonna look viable, right? Whereas when I played Brawl, you know, if I picked Diddy and you picked Ganondorf, I was like 90-10 or something like that.
Right,
like,
yeah, Ganondorf was just really bad in that game.
Yeah, it's just not super balanced, I feel like. But you pick Ganondorf, you know, against Diddy now, or, you know, whatever, and maybe it's the jump squats all being the same, or, you know, I couldn't tell you specifically what it is, but, you know, there's so many characters, and I think they're all viable, if that makes sense.
I get you.
Yeah, it also like moves really well. It flows really well to me. I don't know. It's definitely my favorite, for sure. I guess 64 would be the worst for me, though. It's, you know, it is what it is. It was an amazing game for the time. I just have no.
It's definitely got a very dedicated fan base. That's for sure.
Yes. The other three are hard for me to rank. Smash 4 I did not play competitively. I just wasn't kind of in a place to play it competitively at the time when it was out. I played it for fun a little bit, but that's about it. And Melee, I just played kind of single player. I didn't even know competitive Smash was a thing at that time. So
that's kind of like where it really started to take off. I knew it was Melee.
Yeah. I don't know. Brawl was like my first competitive Smash game. This kind of my second. So.
Don't jump.
Oh. I'll always have like that place in my heart, you know, for Brawl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a ton of fun at the time. I have no interest in going back and playing it now, but I don't know. It's fun to think about how people talk about like Lilat and stuff in this game as like you can't have a stage that's like this unbalanced, and I'm just like, yo, stages were flipping upside down in Brawl. Like you would trip and then the stage would flip upside down and you're just dead.
Right.
it was the Wild West. So I don't know. It's just kind of funny to think about. But yeah.
Okay. So what was the other thing that you thought about that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think something always kind of worth bringing up as far as gaming, maybe specifically, and just myself is I am trans. Mm-hmm. I've been out for like a decade or so, but it's just one of those things where it's always interesting to me, like if I play, like I played at Glitch, right? Like on stream, I played against Dan Fornix, and like there's a ton of people watching, and I'm on camera, so it's one of those things where you think like, well, I'm playing the game, I 5-stock them, right? Like it's, you know, but all people are talking about is like, is she trans or not? Right. So it's always something that I always want to like kind of bring up and shed awareness to. Like it literally has nothing to do with the game. And it's just one of those things that's always going to be there. Like, you know, when you're trans, I guess that like anything you do is going to be like kind of questioned almost, like, or that's going to be like the highlight almost. And I know I'm the one bringing it up in the interview, but it's always like interesting to kind of point out almost that the more notoriety you get, the more that it comes up, and it's just, I don't know, one of those things where I think like, why does this matter about the game? What is it about that makes like you know, Twitch chat blow up when that's a thing?
I think like there's a part of it, because like you and I both know how toxic Smash can be and how toxic it used to be as well.
Yes.
And like I think there's still like a part of it where it's just kind of like it's a getting used to it type deal. But like I think like these past couple years in general, I think like the Smash community has gotten a lot better about those types of things. But it's still not at the point where like we can just go through without bringing it up, you know?
Right. Yeah, I feel that. I think the thing too is like gaming is a microcosm for like society or for the world, right? Like it's just kind of a pocket where it's all similar and it all sort of like progresses at the same speed that everything else does. Maybe gaming a little bit behind everything else, but and I don't even want to say like Smash in general. I think it's sort of a thing where you have so many people who are drawn to a video game that you're gonna have people of all different ideologies and thoughts and everything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely Smash and gaming have come a long way, right? Like, you know, I played Brawl competitively, and I was in a place where people would like shout very, I don't know if the word's toxic, right? Like shout very kind of like sexually explicit things, you know, when somebody was doing good or bad, and it's like that's not a thing that happens anymore. And I've definitely seen a lot of people, you know, speak out against that type of stuff. So everything's progressed a lot, and I definitely don't want to make it seem like that. Same with like, you know, a decade ago, before celebrities and stuff were out and all that, you know, I would be shouted at like in public places, right? Like everything's come a long way, but it's just one of those things where it's always kind of interesting to watch back and just be like, wow, I really did that, you know, this specific thing was like really good, and then I'll go back and watch and I'm just like, oh shit, everyone's just talking about that. Right.
And I can see how that would be very off-putting too, and just not, I don't want to say shocking. I'm not sure like what the position that you were in, but like it definitely would just be like, hey, you know, like you said, I want to go back and check this out, and then like that's all you hear, and it's just like it's very distracting, I would assume.
Yeah, I'd say distracting could be a good way to put it. It's just one of those things where I guess it's like this whole other debate is happening. I'm just like, y'all, but did you see that I like, you know,
I schmixed them.
Yeah. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that spike though? That was pretty sick.
Yeah, I could totally get where you're coming from on that part. Like sometimes you just want to be recognized as a player in general, and it's just kind of it is a shame that sometimes it has to be brought up. And I think it's just kind of like I'm not sure how to describe it, but I think it's just like some people they feel compulsed to just point out the things they see. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I feel that too, and I definitely don't want to make it sound like, you know, I'm the only person or even like demographic or anything like that that faces anything like that, right? Like,
right.
I think everyone kind of gets that type of thing in Twitch chat, right? But sometimes, yeah. But it can also be really positive too, for sure. I don't want to just harp on like negative things. I think that there's a lot of positive in there as well. But
that's good.
Yeah, I think it's always something like worth kind of talking about. I always want to kind of bring awareness to what yeah. Oh, I just got destroyed there.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when Inson's up at that weird angle.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's always something I like to kind of bring up, shed a little bit of awareness on, and I think it shouldn't really make a difference.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're completely right on that one. Especially because like I feel like that type of demographic is growing in Smash. Like I don't want to say rapidly, but definitely it's a lot more noticeable than it was like, you know, at the beginning of like Smash 4 and stuff like that. And I think a lot of this comes down to like especially these past 4 years, it's become a point where like it's brought up more to the point of like the kind of like raising awareness about it and stuff like that, especially because again, these past 4 years have been something. So
yes, no, absolutely. I think everything is positive. Like a lot of things are being shed light on, right? Mm-hmm. Like I ended up quitting Brawl kind of towards the end of its life, I think. In big part because I just felt like it was one of the only kind of scenes that I was just still facing a lot of like misgendering, backlash, not even like a lot of stuff like straight up, but like a lot of like microaggressions and stuff that were just not happening in other like circles, I guess, that I was belonged to at the time. I mean, but also things like, you know, like I was at a Brawl tournament one time, and I was talking, like, you know, like a little like circle, right, where you're talking with people. There was an ex of mine was there, and a kid whose tag, I don't think this person's probably in Smash anymore, but a kid whose tag was named Beefy. And like a kid, right, like, you know, in their teens, and I'm probably in my like late teens or early 20s or something like that. But I know I was in my early 20s. But we're just talking, right? We're just having a conversation, whatever. I don't remember what about, but nothing related to anything. And all of a sudden, he just grabs my breast.
Whoa!
Right? Like just in the middle of a tournament venue, in the middle of a circle, talking, right? Just grabs me, and me and the other person that was there, again, they were my ex, you know, and we were on good terms. We're just like shocked, like can't. You know, like, what in the hell just happened? Why would you do that? And literally, he's just like, I just wanted to see what it was like, and like thinks it was okay, right?
Whoa!
Like, and it's just like that's stuff that I've put up with. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
being in gaming, I guess. I don't know. And so I was, you know, I think people don't necessarily expect like things like that would happen. And I don't think anything like that has happened. You know, in more recent times, while people have been more aware of things, but
right.
Yeah, it's just definitely one of those things where it's just like, I think at that time, I think you're seeing more people now. Yeah, I think you're seeing more trans people. I think you're seeing more women in general and stuff in gaming and Smash, because that type of thing is looked down upon now, right? Like, people will make that person exit the venue if that happens, you know, other than just being like, well, I guess I'm gonna just go in this corner now. But that's why I think you weren't seeing that much before, because I think that type of stuff was happening kind of constantly.
Right. And I think it's pretty incredible that even like with what you've dealt with so far, that you still love the Smash community as much as you do, and that you still have like positive views on it. Like, I think that takes like a whole different kind of mentality that I think a lot of people, I think, rightfully struggle with, but again, just like struggle with in general.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, I love this game, and I love the people who play it. I think it's I mean, it's like a wacky game, right? Like you have this thing where there's so many games out there where you're, you know, a character, both characters are like half the size of the screen, right? And you're just kind of looking for all of these like precise inputs to take them down. And we're playing a game where I'm a monkey holding a banana and you're a big red cat wrestler, and we're, you know, like running around this giant stage in front of a bunch of like cartoon animals, trying to make each other fly off. Like it's serious, but it's like wacky at the same time. And I think there's, you know, something to be said about people who want to play this over the precise, you know, right? Like
I think I get what you're saying.
Right. It's just a lot of fun. It's like super goofy. It's not the most serious thing in the world. And I don't know. It's I love that part of the community too, right? That it's just, you get all sorts of people playing it. But it's, I don't know. I just love the game. It's a lot of fun, and it's one of those things where they could keep coming out with them, and I won't stop playing them.
I feel that. I think that's a really good mentality to have, and honestly, like again, I think it's awesome. Oh, jeez, I don't think it's awesome anymore. Never mind. I don't think
it's all over. It's all over. Run off down air. It'll run off down air. That's the thing too. Like it's I don't know. I like to play with that read sort of. I'm like, okay, you've been recovering low, I guess. So let's just do this and see what happens. Yeah.
It definitely worked out there.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, if you want to play with some reads, we can play some reads. It's fine.
Yeah. Ooh.
All right, look, I was joking. Okay, there we go. Okay, I was joking.
Last time it was the runoff. This one I went the short hop. It all works out.
I guess you got some reads. I guess you got some reads. But yeah, no. I just want to stress that I think it's awesome that you're able to kind of keep this like positive mentality, especially with what you've experienced so far. And I think that definitely kind of goes to show, especially with how long you've been in, that you are definitely a shining star of sorts in the Smash community, and and I think that's great, honestly. So keep being you, because that's dope. That's dope.
I appreciate it. Heck yeah.
So from there, I think we're pretty much all out of stuff. We're not that we're out of time. There was no real time limit, but you know, we're coming up on 40 minutes and stuff like that. And I think we covered a lot of really good stuff, and I would hate to drag it out and just kind of like make it sloppy, because this was a really good run. This is a really good run.
Perfect. So, yeah, completely up to you.
Yeah. So again, thank you very much for coming on. For those unaware, if you're just tuning in to the end of the video for some odd reason, this is Madison Turner. She is a Diddy Kong main from Richmond, Virginia. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give before we wrap this up?
Oh goodness. Shout outs. I mean, I do want to plug, I guess, that plug some stuff real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
As you can see, you know, TTV Madison, of course. I know it's probably silly almost to have the Twitch there, but I do stream right now like 5 to 7 days a week. So you can always just twitch.tv/TTV Madison. Same with Twitter, and I'll always post the schedule there and pin it. TTV Madison is the @. Geez, as far as like shout outs and stuff, just everyone who's hanging out and watching me on Twitch, right? Like River and Wildfire and the whole gang. L, thank you all so much for, you know, supporting and hanging out. And, you know, I just want to grow the community, right? And play video games.
There you go. I think that's pretty good. So yeah, and then any sort of links like your Twitter and your Twitch, I'll throw them in the bio. If there's anything else, I'll get in touch with you afterwards if there's any other links you'd like to throw in there. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. We're going to wrap this up. So once again, I am Wonderful Skiff. This is Madison Turner. And be good to each other, buds.